Good evening. These are tonight's headlining stories. Pop idol Pop Puppets gear up the final face-off with Gareth odds on face favourite. Tongue rockers pucker up the girls' blouses were live at New York Fashion Week. And Dick Van Depp, Johnny's a mock-teen mother in new Ripper thriller. Hello, my name is Christopher. I hope you're feeling the Friday force, but up and down the country, bars are empty and streets deserted as people stay at home and hang out the bunting for tomorrow night's Pop Idol final. It's Will, of course, versus Gareth. Everyone has a favourite soft centre, and even Category A prisoners are being allowed access to phone boxes in surrounding villages so that they too can take part in this national celebration of fantastic marketing. Reporting for Liquid News, Tamsin Sylvester.
If you've got anything planned for Saturday night other than slumping in front of the TV with your dialing finger poised over the phone, then where have you been?
Surely you've noticed the nation's been gripped by election fever. And we're not talking about Tony and Ian slugging it out over the dispatch box. This is a matter of far greater significance. This is Pop Idol.
And it's not just us mere mortals that are getting carried away with the great Will v Gareth debate. Louis Vuitton handbags are being drawn at dawn in the celebrity world too. Posh and Robbie Williams are backing Will. And lucky little Gareth's got spoonbender Uri Geller and Kylie Minogue's waxwork behind him, apparently.
I wanted Darius to win it because then it would prove that Nostradamus had predicted things correctly and the world was coming to an end. I think he's evil incarnate.
So who really wins? Either Gareth or Will, probably both, will get a record deal. They'll make a couple of number ones each. They'll wallow in teen-fueled fame for a while. Then, well, the signs aren't good, are they?
I think they see Gareth as a money-making machine. I mean, he's got the looks. He looks like he could be in a band like Westlife. And I think that Simon Cowell, who's going to be overseeing his career, this is his kind of field. I mean, he's looked after Westlife and Five.
It's not fixed. We had 5.5 million calls last week who decided who should leave. On Saturday night, we're going to have even more people voting to decide who's going to win. It's definitely not fixed. We don't know who the winner is.
On the other hand, the programme makers have had a hit show with massive viewing figures and a lucrative phone vote. They've generated a massive publicity swirl for the record company to release the first single into. Even Foxy's getting in on the act. His radio show will get first play of the record. And in the world after Saturday night, the contestants have signed on the dotted line with 19 management. That's Nicky Chapman and Simon Fuller. And there's a national tour featuring the final 10. So that's all tied up nicely too.
I mean, Simon Fuller's a very clever man. I mean, he put together S Club 7, he put together the Spice Girls, and he's done Pop Idol. So I think that, yeah, it'll add a few more million to his already vast fortune.
And Lord above, if you can take any more, there's already talk of Pop Idol 2. Tamsin Sylvester, BBC News.
Gracing the banquette tonight is our entertainment news commentator, Radio 5 Live show business presenter Caroline Ferret. You also do a bit of travel as well.
Well, I stick that in there now and then when I need to pay the mortgage.
Loving that phrasing. And I'm delighted to welcome Guy Garvey, the frontman with Northern Guitar Heroes. It says here, Elbow. You happy with that description?
That sounds great to me. Yeah.
Good, OK. Don't stand up in that skirt because
Thank
there is an issue.
Cheers.
It's all gone down the side. And you've been helping out, Guy, haven't you?
I have, yes.
You've been very helpful.
We tried gaffer tape, but it didn't hold up. This is amazing, isn't it? But there's so much criticism towards it. It's just a TV show. Shouldn't we all relax a little bit?
It's so exciting. I've got I had quite a big fight with my flatmate earlier about whether the vote for Will or the vote for Gareth poster should go up in the window. Because he wants to vote for Will and I want to vote for Gareth.
Right.
But I love it.
I
love it. I absolutely love it.
This is what's going on.
Well, not a lot. I don't get out often.
Yeah, but what about everyone's worked themselves up into a frenzy? Is that just the kind of media milking this story about the fixing and the phone votes or what?
No, more 18 to 25-year-olds will vote in this than in the general election. It's a big deal.
Right. You've mentioned that point as well about the vote in the general election, but I mean, it's multiple people voting, even if they get 7 million votes. It's not a serious point, Guy, you're making, is it?
Yeah, I don't know. I found it really depressing when I heard those figures yesterday on the radio. It's sort of a little bit distressing, really.
But isn't there kind of room for this kind of mass market commercial pop thing versus kind of what you do, which is obviously mass market?
Yeah, there definitely is. I mean, I think the kind of exposure programmes like Pop Stars and Pop Idol that show how manufactured it all is, shows that people aren't fooled by it. They know how much money and sort of how many people are involved. So there's obviously room for it. People want it all the same, if not more.
But it seems as if we kind of almost need, in this category of music, a stunt or added value to go with this kind of act, like a TV show or going out with someone from a soap. Does that bother you? You're quite cool with that? Or do you really see it at home?
I don't really see it as relevant to what we do. I mean, I don't consider us above or below or anything like that. I think they're doing it for different reasons than we are.
Part of what captures you about Pop Idol and pop stars and those things is it's not just a talent contest. It's not just, you know, a search for a star. It's also a very, very good documentary about the star-making process.
Stop it. No. Shush. You need to watch the Discovery Channel for good documentaries.
No, it's about
just very
the
briefly, let's
process.
just deal with the question. I think that the BBC Economics Entertainment News Unit, which is me and a calculator, has decided that the Darius vote will actually transfer to Will. So I think he could win, which is against the bookies. Who do you think will win? Or do you really not?
To be honest, I haven't watched it, so I haven't got a clue. I'm not just saying that to be cool.
Caroline, in a word.
Gareth.
Thank you very much. Indeed, we will see it is tomorrow night, of course.
Liquid News. Live with Christopher Price.
Good evening. These are tonight's headlining stories. Pop go the ratings. 13 million tune in to see Big Willie pull it off on prime time. Kevin's wet and windy Oscar forecasts were live at the Berlin Film Festival. Plus, CBeebies say, the corporation launches One Potato, Two Potato child channels. Sorry I made that noise. Hello, my name is Christopher. I hope you survived the weekend in style. Now, I was one of the millions of people who made TV history at the weekend. Figures out today confirmed that the crowning of Will Young as ITV's Pop Idol was seen by the sort of audience that only Del Boy used to be able to bank on back in the 70s. In addition, more than 8.7 million 10-pence votes were cast, making it the UK's biggest ever phone poll. The TV event that made stars of unknowns also made millions for the programme makers. Pop Idols 2 is already in the show business pipeline. Pressing redial for Liquid News is Alex Stanger.
The winner of Pop Idol 2002 is Will!
Phew, well, it's taken 23 weeks and finally the waiting is over. And Will, well, he's off to a no cameras please secret location.
We're going to shoot the video, which seems very weird for me saying it to you, to be honest. The first time I've said it to anyone. I don't know where we're going, but we're going off somewhere and we'll do that and come back and slowly return to a sort of new normality.
His diary is already filled, his double A-side single already pressed, and underage girlfriends are already hanging around the after show.
No, there's something very, very sexy about Will, something very, very sexy.
Will Young became the victor in a TV talent show which last week started looking like a political campaign. But the Pop Idol final was more popular than politics, pulling in over 13 million viewers, compared with the last election night audience which peaked at 6 million.
You only have to see politicians on Question Time discussing Pop Idol, knowing the Queen's watching Pop Idol, to know it is a phenomenon.
The most successful TV shows in the future are going to be the ones that exploit the technology that's available to enhance the viewing experience, and I think Pop Idol is a clear example of that. It was the kind of the interactivity, the ability to vote and become involved in the show that was partly responsible for making it such a huge success.
Following a weekend of Pop Idol parties, conversations and newspaper inches, it seems the nation is not ready to quit its latest obsession, with today's tabloids screaming it's a phone line fix.
It was independently audited by ourselves, and I can confirm that the correct number of votes was reported.
Pop Idol hasn't been a cash cow for the phone companies alone. Will's future is now expected to be a multi-million-pound business, which Judge Nikki Chapman will take care of.
It's a 19 idea. I work for Simon Fuller. We're going to co-manage the winner. That's called business, isn't it? I wouldn't knock it, because Simon Fuller is the most influential man in the music industry, and we will make someone extremely successful.
And it's not even bad news for Saturday's loser. With one of Simon's contracts in the offing, Gareth has no regrets.
Yeah, it's just really made me a much stronger person, and I've had opportunities like this, having interviews on TV and radio, which, you know, I'd never thought I'd have ever had during that speech.
Roll on Pop Idol 2. Alex Stanger, BBC News.
Now, watching Pop Idol as a mother and a lover, Pleased to welcome the comedian Miss Jenny Eclair. That's a bit
Hello,
noisy,
Christopher.
Hello. From the Hangover Sunday morning show, it's Pop World presenter, Mr. Simon Amstel. And here for TV analysis is Heat Magazine's Mr. Small Box, Boyd Hilton. How is everyone?
Very well indeed, thank you.
Very interesting, the discussion we were just having about Will, but we can't, well, I'm sure you're having the same discussion at home necessarily. However, let's start with this, because it is a TV event. You know, in this kind of digital multi-channel era, which we love, obviously, it is hard to create a TV event, and they did it. What is it about the show that made it?
Well, I think it was a mixture of skill and luck. I mean, they had all the right elements. Anton Deck, everyone loves Anton Deck, perfect hosts. You had the story from zero to hero. Everyone loves normal people being turned into huge megastars, which is what's happened, what we've seen. And they also had the luck aspect. It was they had these this interesting clash between Will and Gareth. I think Gareth was, you know, like the mummy's boy, the very young bloke with the stutter. Everyone felt sorry for him. And Will, who's a much more kind of self-assured guy, you know, with the so-called extra musical talent, though his voice was quite versatile, and we thought, you know, he could sing and everything. So it was an interesting clash. It had all the elements came together to create a TV phenomenon.
Once again, tonight the makers of Pop Idol put out a statement saying it's not a fix, the papers are full of it again. I mean, we just need to get to grips with this. It's a commercial television.
Yeah.
They're going to make money, and what is the big problem with this?
Absolutely. How could it be a fix? How could they fix it so that more Gareth people voters couldn't get through than Will voters?
Just very briefly, Nikki Chapman, according to Channel 4 News on Sunday, I can't believe I'm quoting Channel 4 News,
Channel 4 what?
Estimated that she, because she's got shares and kind of, you know, 90, made £167,000 from a phone vote. I'm not suggesting she's done anything wrong, but should the judges have nothing to do with this, do you think, in future?
Yeah, I think we can only expect people, if they give that amount to the programme, if they invest that amount in this concept, that they get something out of it. I mean, it's only natural. And I don't think... the other thing is they're not voting for them. You know, they didn't get to vote for these people. It was the public that voted for them.
Simon, in a way, I mean, as we saw with Hearsay, the story really ends here, kind of our emotional link to these two people.
It's downhill all the way now, isn't it?
Really?
It's a slippery
slope. If it was Gareth, I would have said yes. But I think Will, he's got a degree in everything, hasn't he? I think he'll do quite well.
He reads Ice Murdoch books.
Well,
He's the clever middle-class boy, isn't he? The middle-class boy came good in the end. I think that was a shock to people as well. Suddenly you've got people... I think my mother might have dabbled with a phone vote for the first time in her life.
From the home?
Yeah.
Is she going to dabble quite regularly now?
Is she which one would you love and which one would you mother?
Oh, well, I don't know whether either of them would let me have the opportunity, to be honest. But Will would have... I'd have quite liked to have hung on to that jaw of his.
It's a big jaw.
It's a big jaw.
Big tongue.
And a big tongue.
It's a bit of a monkey face,
oh, yes.
really.
Oh,
good working tongue, that boy
Just briefly,
has.
it's going to be a very hard week for Will, do you think, or not just yet?
It's going to be a very hard week. He's going to face lots of probing from the media. Let's put it that way.
Let's put it that way. Boyd staying for one more story.
At least. Can't I stay for the whole thing?
No. Still ahead. Watch with Mother. We'll talk about it later. Watch.
Hello, welcome back. This is the Chocolate Pop Idol single, which I'm going to ask you three to share.
Oh, we will.
Munch away. Is he or isn't he, we're asking, about to be pop #1? Idol Will's single has hit the shops, and if you believe the hype, he'll soon be a multi-hit millionaire living with a young friend in a large house with lovely soft furnishings. Rebecca Cooper rings the tills for Liquid News. Can I have some?
No.
He's still smiling, but as time goes on, has Will discovered the taste of Bolly Darling, or has the Asti gone flat?
It's D-Day. It's Will Young's debut single. It's out in the shops today, and who knows, it could be the fastest selling thing since fastest selling things. Ooh, have we got a buyer? Are you a big fan of Will?
Well, I think he's a very good singer.
Yeah.
I do, definitely. I think he's done well.
I think it's brilliant. Really good. Really good.
But in anticipation of CD success, pre-sales have been huge with plenty of radio exposure.
Evergreen has gone in at number 27 and All Radio is playing it. We've got it on our B list. So yeah, we wait to see, you know, how it picks up over the next week or so, but he's had a pretty impressive start so far.
And it hasn't stopped his Pop Idol creator, Cruel Cowell, from making dastardly promises.
We've got to try and beat the Hearsay record. So we've got to sell over, I think it's 550,000 copies in the first week. And if I lose to Hearsay, I'll be really, really, really upset.
I'm gonna take this. And here's another reason to keep smiling, Will. You've already beaten Hearsay and Hype. Rumour has you'll beat them in Dosh. Let's face it, there's no band members to share the hoard with.
Now, surprisingly, for such an exciting day, there's a real lack of Willie around. In fact, there's not even a video out yet, which is why we've come up with our own version. Hope you enjoy it.
This is Will in Jamiroquai styling and doing a Robbie, and experts reckon he's got Mr. Williams' staying power.
I think there's no reason why he can't continue indefinitely, particularly if he chooses the right songs.
Which is why, when you see him, do say, "Can you lend me a fiver?" Don't say, "I voted for Gareth." After all, he is our Wonder Will. Rebecca Cooper, BBC News.
Now, Roland, if you had the chance again to start your career, would you go for the route of the kind of pop idol, or would you try and do what you did anyway?
Probably not, just because the people that I listened to who influenced me were known for creating their own stuff.
Right.
So, and you know, you tend to be a child of your time, so you tend to be influenced by what you were listening to. So, no, just because those people that I liked were writing their own songs.
Will hasn't got a video, by the way, so this is the Rick Waller video. Anybody remember Roland from Grange Hill?
Don't tease me.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, well done. I can only remember that the woman said Roland, but that was just about it. Yeah. Mark, he sells, when you put Will Young, not Rick, on the copy of Heat, he sells a fortune for you, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Is he going to do that in a year's time, or is it just going to...
I'm not sure that's the trouble. I mean, this is the biggest point of his career. Coming off the 26-week advert, basically, which is what ITV has done with him with Pop Idol. He's got a lot to live up to. This record, we reckon, has sold about 250,000 in one day. If so, usually times it by 4, that's the total for the end of the week. It could have sold 1 million by the end of the week, so Simon Cowell will be very happy it's smashed Hearsay's record. But whether, you know, he's never going to live up to that. How can you live up to that? He's had a 26-week-long advert. It's all downhill from now. It's how he manages that downhill and how steep it is.
Managing the downhill, that's quite serious, isn't it?
Well, that's the way it is. That's the hype it up to such an extent.
Very, very quickly, last word. Will Young, you going to buy it?
Probably not.
Probably not, OK. Soft furnishings. Rebecca Cooper rings the tills for Liquid News.
He's still smiling, but as time goes on, has Will discovered the taste of Bolly Darling, or has the Asti gone flat? It's D-Day. It's Will Young's debut single. It's out in the shops today, and who knows, it could be the fastest selling thing since fastest selling things. Ooh, have we got a buyer? Are you a big fan of Will?
Well, I think he's a very good singer.
Yeah.
I do, definitely. I think he's done well.
I think it's brilliant. Really good. Really good.
But in anticipation of CD success, pre-sales have been huge with plenty of radio exposure.
Evergreen has gone in at number 27 and all radio is playing it. We've got it on our B list. So yeah, we wait to see, you know, how it picks up over the next week or so, but he's had a pretty impressive start so far.
And it hasn't stopped his Pop Idol creator, Cruel Cowell, from making dastardly promises.
We've got to try and beat the Hearsay record. So we've got to sell over, I think it's 550,000 copies in the first week. And if I lose to Hearsay, I'll be really, really, really upset.
And here's another reason to keep smiling, Will. You've already beaten Hearsay and Hype. Rumour has you'll beat them in Dosh. Let's face it, there's no band member to share the hoard with. Now, surprisingly, for such an exciting day, there's a real lack of Willie around. In fact, there's not even a video out yet, which is why we've come up with our own version. Hope you enjoy it. This is Will in Jamiroquai styling and doing a Robbie, and experts reckon he's got Mr. Williams' staying power.
I think there's no reason why he can't continue indefinitely, particularly if he chooses the right songs.
Which is why, when you see him, do say, "Can you lend me a fiver?" Don't say, "I voted for Gareth." After all, he is our Wonder Will. Rebecca Cooper, BBC News.
I mean, quick poll, who's going to buy it? Barry, are you going to rush to HMV?
No, I don't see that the guy's got a chance. I mean, he's got a degree, he reads Iris Murdoch, his knuckles don't brush the ground as he walks around, he can't make it as a pop star.
He's too clever.
He's too clever.
He's too clever. I mean, maybe, though, he's clever enough to sort of see that and then make it as a pop star after all. Maybe it's a double bluff.
That could be. Well, I hope so for his sake.
Only time will tell, as they say.
Right, I haven't even heard the record yet, so...
Hannah, would you go and buy this?
I got quite a shock because I thought it was that old show tune, Evergreen, yeah, which is completely different from what he's singing.
That's the one you're releasing in 6 months' time.
Yeah, of course, yeah. On my departure, no. So I expected a totally different song from the one I got, and I was quite disappointed by that, really.
And as Rebecca was saying in that package, that he hasn't released a video yet. So this is the Rick Waller video that has been released. Well, it's going to be released in the next couple of days, I think. Oh. And this is the... You didn't watch Pop Idol at all, did you?
No.
This is the bloke who didn't get very far.
Did I miss something?
No.
No, good.
Well, you did last week. There's a frenzy about it a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
No,
but now it's not
I've read about the frenzy.
Yeah.
He got laryngitis and couldn't go to the final, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my excuse.
Is that your excuse for the BAFTAs? People get used to it by now. But I mean, do you really think, say, 4th single, 5th single, 2nd album, 4th album, he's got a career? Will, not Rick.
I think he might have, because he seems quite, like we said, he seems quite bright and like he could keep it together. He seems fairly sort of mentally able to keep it together, so...
Right.
But as that guy so wisely, though, obviously said, it depends on what songs he chooses, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if he picks the wrong songs, he's had it. If
That's
he picks
the
the
key.
right ones, it doesn't really matter if you can sing very well, does it, if the song's right?
Remember that for your pop career.
I only started watching it quite near the end when there was like 4 left or something. But he does seem to be steering it towards the way that he wants it, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Or it seems to be that way.
He's had a
which I
bit of a
think
re-image
already
work,
is good.
though, hasn't he, by the record company? He's been slightly
The
done
phrase
over
that
a bit.
sticks to me about him is one-trick pony. He can do one kind of genre song very well. That's it.
Well, he did 5 different genres, didn't he? Or
In the same
4.
style, though, I thought. He was always just the same. Anyway, that's just me. I'm going to get in trouble now. Anyway.